Good morning, everyone. Welcome back. Hope you had a great Monday, Tuesday. We're going to begin in the book of Timothy, and we want to keep the word maturity and growth in mind. Let's begin with First Timothy chapter 1, verse 5. The goal of his command is love, which comes from a pure heart and a good conscience and a sincere faith. The book of Timothy gives us a glimpse into this beautiful relationship between Apostle Paul and his spiritual son Timothy. Paul isn't writing this letter to just encourage a friend. He wants to shape a disciple of Jesus. He's calling Timothy to rise, to mature, to grow into the person God always intended him to be. Timothy at this time is pastoring a church in Ephesus, and they were having difficult time. There are distractions, doubts, and divisions within the church, and the people he leads are imperfect, and so is he. And yet Paul's message is simple and direct. It's time to grow up, Timothy. And he's not saying this in a harsh or condemning way, but he's saying this in a life-giving way that challenges Timothy to take full ownership of his calling. So keep that in mind as we go through the book of Timothy. I once bought a dwarf rose during my seminary years, a beautiful pink mini rose plant, and I brought it into my dorm. I watered it every so often, thinking it would grow and flourish, but after a few weeks, it looked sad and droopy. Then it dawned on me it wasn't getting any sunlight. I expected growth without providing the conditions that made growth possible. The mini rose plant became a quiet teacher. Spiritual growth doesn't happen just because we wish it would. Like plants, you and I need the right environment, the kind that God designed for life to flourish. Paul reminds Timothy that spiritual growth reaches its goal in one word, and that's love. Not love as a performance to show off or emotion, but love that flows from within, a pure heart, a good conscience, and a sincere faith. And this kind of love is the fruit of a soil formed and nurtured by God. Therefore, growth never happens automatically. A seed can't become a tree without sunlight, water, and good soil. And a believer can't mature without an environment shaped by three essentials: truth, grace, and connection. Truth helps us to see reality, the truth about God, the truth about others around us, and truth of ourselves, and the truth about our need for a Savior. Growth begins the moment we step into the light of His Word instead of hiding from it. Grace gives us room to grow without fear. It allows us to change because we're loved, not so that will be loved. Connection anchors us in relationships where encouragement, connection, and support take root. No one grows well in isolation. As I shared before, Christianity is personal, relationship with God, but it's not private. We need each other. So when truth, grace, and connection come together beautifully, we find ourselves becoming what Paul describes as people whose hearts grow pure, whose conscience align with God's way, and whose faith rings true. These inner transformations naturally produce love. It's easy to think spiritual maturity means more knowledge, getting busier. But Paul points us towards something simpler but harder: love. Love that forgives when it isn't deserved. Love that listens before it speaks. Love that puts others ahead of self. Imagine a church shaped by that kind of love, where conversations heal instead of harm, where people extend grace instead of judgment, where maturity isn't measured by appearance, but by compassion. May you and I be that, because that's the soil where God's kingdom grows today and this week. Take a moment to ask. Ask yourself, am I pursuing growth that's measured by love? In my words, do my words build others up? In my decisions, do my decisions reflect Christ's heart? In my responses, do my responses show patience, humility, and care? See, if we invite God to tend the soul of our hearts with His truth, grace, and connection, love will inevitably blossom. Because where His Spirit is working, love always grows. So today, let's ask God to renew your heart, that God will shine where you've grown dry, and may He water you with His grace, root you in His truth, and connect you to His people. May you love God and love others as you grow and as we grow together. I hope that was a blessing. Have an amazing day. If you have not pressed that like button, please press that like button, share the video so others may find blessing through His word. Subscribe if you want these videos right away. God bless you, and I'll see you in a couple of days.